Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. I'm sure a lot of you are in school to some extent, university, high school, whatever. The real concern comes from whether or not the entire student body is singing. High School Musical is absolutely a classic little trilogy of movies. They sing, they dance, they play basketball, they hardly do any school stuff, and that's where the cracks start to form. How accurate is this in terms of a high school? To clarify, across all three movies, this just exists as a set piece. It's as iconic as it is stupid. There's not much of an education going on to verify that this is a high school. I know it's supposed to be movie magic, but that doesn't mean I can't criticize things like how there's no real indicator of freshmen in the school. All the background extras look relatively close to their later years of high schools. Like if you were in the 8th grade 3 months ago, there should be at least some little dweebs playing Bakugan in the background. That's what I sought to figure out. I'm trying to see how accurate this is to a high school experience. Not my experience, because that's a collection of stories for another time that adds to my personal development, but just the general American experience and expectations found in every high school in terms of education and extracurriculars, and not making any jokes about other stuff that I don't feel comfortable talking about. Best place to start, the first movie. In this initial adventure, there's a Romeo and Juliet situation being recreated within the American school system. Troy Bolton is on the basketball team, and Gabriella is part of the scholastic decathlon team. You got an athlete and a nerd trying to be together while everyone else refuses and prefers to stay behind their respective cliques. Now this is probably a little dramatic. There's always gonna be some people that are just like unfathomably annoying, so instead you just gotta like stay away from them. I had another instance where there was a football player in a group project who refused to help out or talk to anyone, would just skip the classes and play euchre. He was a dick, not even a starter on the football team, I might add. But otherwise, like no, virtually no times where people are like refusing to leave their given high school stereotypes. It's just people interacting with who they're comfortable with. Why did the high schoolers segregate themselves based on species in this movie? Like I, for example, was pretty solid friends with a whole batch of different people. Hockey team, goalie, esports team, swim team, even a couple of the teachers were just good mentor figures. It's weird to me how High School Musical refused to have anyone jump to other ships until the later movies. I mean, to be fair, they were sophomores, so maybe that could have been a factor, but still, why is Troy talking to the nerds treated like this unholy abomination to do? Why can't they all bond over like silly bands or some shit? I don't know, I wasn't in high school when this movie came out. Also, when do they do class stuff? Other than drama, none of the students seem to be doing homework, attending classes, or prepping for an exam. The only real thing going on is respective clubs being respective clubs. The basketball team is at basketball practice, the decathlon team are doing the actual thing that they're supposed to be doing at school, and then the drama class, again, is like the only one that's fully committed to what they're supposed to be doing. In drama class, we got plenty of time with that. That one makes sense. With the decathlon, we can at least verify that they study off screen on account of being the decathlon team. The team entirely focused on being decathlon people. They're smart for a reason. I would say basketball probably has like a gym or something. They're fine, plus they're athletes. I'm sure they're profitable for the school, so maybe some strings get pulled for Troy and the team. At least Troy is the son of the coach, so he, at the very least, is probably dead set on being an athlete, or a student athlete, but the point still stands. But easily the biggest blunder, the most massive of fatal errors found in the first movie has to be the climax, when the school, for some reason, decides to have the musical audition callbacks happen at the same time as the decathlon and the basketball championship. And this is what incited this entire discussion. First off, we gotta talk about Miss Darbus, who I would say, if only for the fact that just like a solid third of the teachers in the world, she seems to hate the students. She dedicated her career to instructing. Like that could be seen as obvious when all she does in her class is give all of her students detention because a couple of them were interrupting her lecture. That alone is enough for us to be like, we don't like you. Why are you like this? I don't like this teacher. Darbus, knowing that Troy and Gabrielle both have important events that, to be honest, at least the basketball championship would take priority, still has callbacks overlap thanks to the manipulation from Ryan and Sharpay that benefits nobody involved except for them, and makes her look significantly more unprofessional for agreeing to this, knowing Troy and Gabrielle are essential in other extracurriculars, one of which definitely outperforming her current program. To make it a bigger issue, high school parking is not designed with these many events in mind. The basketball game alone should be a different point in the day. Why are you hosting a major sporting event, a championship, not at nighttime? That is just preventing you from making more money. Has there ever been a high school sporting event that takes place at 3:30 p.m.? Why would you do that? That's not profitable for concessions or tickets. That doesn't benefit the parents who work 9 to 5s and want to see their kids thrive and succeed. And in the end, I just don't know why they would allow this. At least one person person involved would look at the game or callbacks and know that something needs to move, or else there's gonna be a nightmarish random Friday in the spring for no reason. I feel like there's a ton of solutions here, but like, I can't really defend the decathlon and callbacks overlapping, but if you know one of your primary people auditioning for the callbacks are gonna be preoccupied with an already established skill set, why are you doing this, Darbus? You are a bad instructor and honestly kind of a bad person. And it isn't even like manipulation via Sharpay and Ryan to Miss Darbus. She just chose to make this a major problem for her entire student body, and at least one of them would have to recognize that this is stupid. But to be fair, so is this entire trilogy. Like, I always think about how Sharpay didn't see Gabrielle hiding in the bathroom. That's your own fault. Everyone here has awful tunnel vision. And then they figure it out by having a power outage in the middle of the championship. That just feels like really weird and a easy way to get a planned timeout. I feel like that would be investigated, but that's besides the point. Moving on, let's see the second movie, where for some reason Disney refused the idea of having another movie that takes place during the school year and went straight to summer vacation. In this, the cliques of the previous movies all like form together into one super friend group, and they all go to like get jobs at the country club, where Sharpay tries to steal Troy so they can be like a rich basketball actor couple with D1 children down the line. When I was on summer break, I tried getting a job at a country club when they were hiring, and I pretty immediately got my resume denied within the hour. Then I spent 13 months working retail and utility at a local grocery store. That's a story for another time. The point is, how did all of their friends manage to get jobs here? I really doubt the manager, Mr. Fulton, was cool with hiring 20 to 30 high schoolers out of nowhere for the Lava Springs Country Club, but hey, he did, so that's fun. I really think this one's not too bad, other than, of course, like the obvious breaking into singing and dancing thing, but that was pretty known coming into it. I always assumed the musical aspect wasn't actually happening, kind of like how the cool fun effects that happen in Demon Slayer are apparently not actually real. Like, why would you even reveal that? It instantly makes your series less interesting by doing that. They all hardly work anyway. I wouldn't trust any of them working, nor would I expect the staff to be aggressive on what they're doing. I feel like they would just have him doing more basketball in the hyperbolic time chamber until he becomes an all-timer, until he becomes Troy LeBron James Bolton. The movie's most definitely exaggerated in the POV of the Wildcats. They're enjoying an eventful summer in their lovely home of Utah, working since they might as well. It's a good way for them to all grow as people and learn these skills. I remember in one of the Odd Ones Out Sue Boy videos, there's a part where he notes that in his opinion, everyone should work at minimum like 6 months in food or retail or services like this, because it introduces you to the workforce, general expectations, and maybe points you into the direction of like, maybe you don't want to do this your entire life. It's a good experience. And to be honest, the whole cast needed this, and I would argue this is accurate enough. I have a couple friends who worked in the country clubs. They were caddies, and it seemed like it was an easy enough thing to do. It just follows some old dudes golfing for 4 to 5 hours, get paid for it. Honestly, not a bad deal, it seems. Even though it's hardly a sport, I gag at the thought of considering it one. I'm saying this as someone who was competent at golf. I had a very good chip game. I think this one would have probably gotten a pass had there been an extensive scene where a 65-year-old woman is yelling at one of the kids for something she ordered incorrectly or something. Have some more moments showing that it sometimes sucks to work at work and all the works. Also, apparently Troy and Gabrielle have their first kiss here. Like, they've been dating for at least 3 to 5 months, and now they just get a kiss. I'm sorry, but I've been to high school. It's not that accurate. It actually takes longer, and they don't have alcohol at parties, only Kool-Aid jammers. This movie is stupid. Last movie, senior year. Troy's real miffed because he can either keep pursuing basketball or he can keep pursuing the arts. If you have to pick one, this should not be a difficult decision. Just like major in arts or something, even minor in it. Objectively, this is the best route to go. I think this one is weird, if only for the fact it follows a cast of dumb kids being dumb kids, which would be fine if these guys weren't just all like super successful in everything they do. They all compete for the same scholarships and whatever, even though like Sharpay and Ryan are rich. I don't think these guys are hellbent on getting more money other than to feel something. And then in the end of the movie, everyone just makes decisions that we didn't know were available to everybody else. Like Ryan and Kelsey get scholarships, even though it was established there was only going to be one of them given out. Plus they're Juilliard ones, which cover roughly half of your tuition. That's crazy. Ryan doesn't need that, respectfully. Troy obviously declares he's going to pursue both his passions. Don't really know how that would be complicated, but I mean, hey, a student athlete might have a hard time making time for everything. At the very least, he could probably pull a Blue Mountain State and get some nerds to do all of his homework and classes for him or something. I don't know. This seems seems overly complicated. Very accurate for a high schooler to think like this. I gotta note how excited the crowd gets over the graduating students when they get scholarships and stuff. No idea why they're all popping off. It's like King K. Rool got added to Smash Brothers or something, but go off. Also, why is Miss Darbus at the podium presenting as if she's the beloved figure of the school? I would hate her if she was my teacher. I feel like the majority of the staff and student body would also hate her for causing so many problems across the series. She isn't like charming in an embittered way. She's just like kind of a not nice person most of the time. The first movie alone and her decisions to be shitty to her more successful students shouldn't go unnoticed. At least them all not prioritizing school in the movie about senior year makes sense, you know? Like, it's senior year, you already got accepted into colleges. It's just about securing scholarships and doing your best in the extracurriculars with the limited time you have as you depressingly say goodbye to this nice little chapter of your life. It's really just an overcomplicated mess the more we look and consider it. High School Musical was never about the high school part. It was a high school that had a musical in it. It was a musical high school. That's the title. That's why it's called that. It was really just all in on making a weird love story where Sharpay would kill someone if it guaranteed her being the lead in the school musical. If I was in this school, not gonna lie, I would be weirded out on specifically like 10 to 12 of these students all getting like main character moments. Like they get the stage, they get massive cheers over all of them specifically, things like that. I'd be getting a lackluster education all while Troy McBasketball holds and bends the campus to his will like a puppet master as he and his friends steal all the scholarships and country club jobs. It embitters me and it just makes me glad I never had to deal with a situation like this. Also, I want to know what the main characters got on the SAT or the ACT if they took it. I know damn well at least one of them failed it. I gotta know who bombed it. Rocket Man. It was probably Rocket Man actually. Overall, High School Musical is a complicated nightmare mess, and I would have appreciated an arc where Troy learns the dangers of marijuana or cyberbullying, or there'd be like an extensive 15-minute tornado drill scene. Just something more high school-y than just them being in the perfect realm for all of the cast. And the worst part is, after all of this, High School Musical is actually 100% accurate toward what it was trying to do. That being to exist as a high school musical. Now let me explain. This is the High School Musical, the series. It is a 4-season mockumentary that completely obliterates the canon of High School Musical. It follows the real students of East High as they try making productions of the High School Musical movies that were shot here and have those as their theater shows. Now this would be fine, except for the fact that it immediately makes it so all the movies are inaccurate, and like they know they aren't accurate. They constantly mock and mention the movies as they recreate them across the seasons in their place. The final season revealing that they're actually going to be shooting a 4th movie titled High School Musical 4, The Reunion. Still shot at East High, still in Utah, would have had the main cast of the show as lead characters apparently. So I guess by that logic, High School Musical shrivels away into nothing more than an idea. It is a film series within another fictional series. It like completely obliterated itself in concept because now we know that it's a movie in canon. It invalidates itself. It perfectly becomes accurate to what it was supposed to be based on. If it's supposed to be a musical movie with all the generic tropes and universe that's directly confirmed within the show, then is it realistic? Is it accurate to intentions? That's kind of hard to say, and it makes me wonder how we're supposed to be looking at this one, you know? It goes full circle from being an adaptation of the idea of a high school and instead works as one of those parodies the cast and universe makes fun of for being unrealistic as it is. Except that that doesn't work because of the mockumentary style also has the school presented almost exactly like how it was in the movies. It still has high school drama stuff going on, but at least this feels like there's more consistently high schoolers as background extras and as the main characters. I don't know, it hardly felt like that initial cast made much of an effort to look like the older middle schoolers because that's what high school is, middle school too. So in that case, for us, it's unrealistic and cliche to typical high school stuff, yet pretty accurate to the lives of the actual characters that we're watching. Almost like a bridge between our expectations and the High School Musical. But the point is, I just want to see Troy from basketball attend some of his classes and feel the agony of waking up with a sleep schedule of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. because that is the craziest part of it all in my eyes. Nobody in this damn building would be singing and dancing with the amount of sleep they would be getting. I don't want chocolate milk and pizza at 9:30 a.m., but I mean, I guess they're happy about it. That was stupid, but that's okay. You watched it. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Feel free to talk more in the comments. Check out more of my other stuff. I'm just happy I never have to go to a high school again. And after that speeding incident with the crosswalk guard, I'm not even allowed near him. Bye-bye now.